Hi guys, we are back. I am gonna be so honest with you right now. I need some Aquaphor. Thank God for Aquaphor, honestly. I totally just filmed a whole episode and then I went on a dog walk and I was just like, that was the most fake, disgenuine shit that's ever come out of my mouth. Filmed a little day in the life with Eugene Littman the other day and it was so fun. And I was on such a high, and then all the comments on that video are like, you're such a sunshine, you're so positive. And honestly, like, it touched my heart so much. And I really, really actively try to be like a positive source, you know, like I just try to be positive, and I try to like all my content or like my TikToks, videos where I'm speaking, like I just try to be positive and light because that makes you feel good, right? I'm so thirsty. One sec. That makes you feel good. Sorry for this invasive. I nearly showed you guys my crotch. Anyways, that makes you feel good. And like, who doesn't want to absorb like positive content, you know, instead of like depressing, dark content? But that's just not my truth today. I just don't feel good. Don't feel good. I feel like very, very heavy. Like I've got a heavy cloud over my head. I hate saying that. I hate saying that because I feel very almost self-righteous, because who am I to feel down, right? You know, when I have a beautiful apartment, I'm safe, thank God. My family are healthy. You know, I have enough money in my pockets to get by. I have hot water, food, heating. Like there's so many like I'm so blessed. And sometimes I really struggle with the idea of like letting myself feel down because I just have so many things to feel grateful for. But I think it's a matter of being human, and like no matter what, you are allowed to feel down. And I'm still very, very grateful even in the moments that I feel down. But I just feel really like not good. Like I feel like I don't know where to. I feel a bit lost sometimes. And like the last 4 to 5 months of this year have been so up and down, and I am a big believer in order to heal a wound, you have to stop touching it. So I feel it through, and then I'm just like, move on. Like, let's keep this shit going. You know what I mean? Because you can't keep excusing behavior or reverting back to triggers and things that bother you. But the truth is, like with every 10 steps back, you go 11 steps forward. And then with every 11 steps back, you go 12 steps forward. And I know like this is just like a part of the journey that I'm on. And you know, when you don't know where to stand anywhere. Another one of my one-liners that I love to just pull out my ass. But that's just how I feel right now. I feel a bit lost and confused. And sometimes when you're trying for something and it's just not working out, you can really lose faith. But that's when you have to like take the faith up a notch. And that's what I'm doing. I know everything's going to be good. But yeah, sometimes I'm not a sunshine. Sometimes I'm a raging bitch. I don't have the sunshine in me. So I was just like, you know, I recorded this episode and I was just like, that's just not me. And that's just not how I'm feeling. And I just want to be as genuine as I can with whoever's watching, because it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to have those bad days. And it's okay to feel like a thunderstorm. That's how I feel right now. I feel like a thunderstorm, and that's okay. So I just wanted to start this episode really, really positive for you guys, because I think if you've been watching me for long enough, you'll know I'm just like not in the best mood right now. But saying that, I do have some takeaways from the trip that I just came from. So I was in Turkey for 2 weeks with a great group of people. So blessed to have so many amazing, smart, inspiring people in my life. And this trip was so fun. And maybe that's also like, maybe it's like the post-trip come down that I'm on, because I was on a high. But by high, I mean I was in a perpetual state of hungover, that I was like living on cloud 9. And I am not a drinker. So the fact that I like had that in me, is kind of impressive. Like, I'm kind of proud of myself, but that I also realize like alcohol doesn't mean no good, because I am such a deep person. I overthink everything. Like, if my light flickers right now, I'm going to think it's my grandpa from the other side trying to communicate to me. Like, that's how I think about life. And it's a blessing and a curse. But the alcohol takes it up a notch. And it was fun, but I'm good now till next summer. I'll chill on the drinking and the partying. But saying that, there is a lot of beauty in not taking yourself seriously. And this might sound like ironic, but because I don't really take myself seriously, but I am a control freak when it comes to myself. So like when I'm out, I'm always like sucking in my stomach, making sure my hair is good. And that's another thing I'm trying to like stop doing, but I touch my hair so much. And it's annoying. Like, I'll watch myself back and I'm like, why do you keep touching your hair? It looked better like before you touched it, So I'm trying to just like let myself be. And it sounds so silly, but those are just like the micromanaging things that run through my head. And then when I'm drinking alcohol, I'm like, no, don't dance like this because you're going to look like an idiot, and don't do that. And like, oh, you're getting bloated, and it's like all these things run through my head. And that just went out the window on this trip. And I had the time of my life. Like, there's so much beauty in just not taking yourself too seriously, like letting yourself look like an idiot. Hello?
Hi, is that Mara?
Yes, it is.
Hi, it's Amitai calling from Gym Box Victoria. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? I am not actually like a usual resident in London. I come and go, so I just wanted to go with my friend.
Okay, no problem at all. We can always discuss options.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you, bye-bye. That was a lie, but I just really did not want to join that gym. So never mind. Another thing, yeah, I love to tell a white lie from time to time. Just sometimes it just gets the job done a lot quicker. So sorry, my friend, but I will not be going back to your gym. Anyways, I was just saying, it's so fun to just not take yourself seriously sometimes. And I had a great time and I loved loosening up. But on that trip, I was getting slightly triggered by certain things. And again, I'm talking about my healing journey right now and kind of moving on from stuff that has happened and like emotions and things like that. And I struggle sometimes to let go. And whenever I'm struggling to let go, I always go back to this parable in this book. It's called The Wind is Your Mother by Bear Hart. It's an amazing book. It's kind of like a guide to life, in my opinion. I just think it's got so much knowledge and beauty in this book. Highly recommend. But there's a story about letting go and how in order to let go, you have to relinquish things. So I'm going to try and make it as short and sweet as possible. Story goes, this guy gives this girl a family heirloom, an heirloom that was really, really important to him, but he lets go by giving it to her. So he lets go of the heirloom. Anyways, a couple of years later, he sees this heirloom in a pawn store and he is immediately personally violated. He feels like, why would she get rid of the thing that I gave her? Had a lot of sentimental value, blah, 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 blah. So in hindsight, he let go of this thing, but he didn't really let go of this thing because he still was attached. So to relinquish means to give up. In relinquishing it, he started to realize maybe she needed money. Like maybe, he gave her that heirloom and now she's doing something for her greater good with the heirloom. And that's how you should let go of things. So instead of getting emotionally violated when something doesn't go your way, it's kind of like you have to look at the bigger picture and be like, well, I'm going to let go of this now because it's for the better of me. It will be for the better of that person. Maybe that person needed to do X, Y, Z because of A, B, C. And it's a way of like letting it go with love and letting go of that unhealthy emotional attachment you have to things, because attachment is kind of like the root to a lot of disappointment and a lot of expectations that aren't met, because you're attached to things. It's like you have goals, but then you get attached to the goal. And then when you're on your path and you go here and you go there, it starts stressing you out because you're so attached to this goal. But like, you can't be attached to the goal. You have to be like almost like attached to the bigger picture of like knowing that the person you become on your journey is far more important than the outcome. You know what I mean? Or not far more important, but more impactful. And so I had to remind myself of that story because I think it's a really beautiful way of understanding the meaning of letting go and how important it is to let go of things that just simply aren't serving you anymore. And I've always been a holder honor. I just love holding on to things, but that's just not what you can do. You've got to let go, relinquish, release, and just like create that space in your heart to let more experiences, more love, more life come through. Yeah, that was just one of my takeaways. Another takeaway from my trip was how it's so important to surround yourself with really smart people. Like there were so many smart people on this trip, and I remember like sitting at dinner like a mute because I couldn't form an opinion because I didn't know what they were talking about, But not knowing what they were talking about was kind of like, shit, Amara, like get your act together. I think we can become, or myself anyways, I'll just speak for myself, but I can become very almost stagnant and comfortable with what I know. So I'm very comfortable and confident in what I know, but there's so much I do not know. And I want to know. And I've always had this thing since I'm little. It's like, if it doesn't sound interesting, I'm not going to be invested. That's why I haven't passed my theory test yet for my driving license, because I'm really not interested in MOT and insurance and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, I've got to start to become interested. Otherwise, I'm never passing this test. And I've had it since I've always been that way. It's like geography, not interested. I don't know anything about geography. And that's terrible. It's like I need to force myself to become interested because it's so cool to have an opinion. It's so cool to be able to sit at a table with really smart people and kind of like clap back. Clap back was not the right word. What's the word? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, discuss, conversate, you know what I mean? Go back and forth, clap it back, So that was like a big revelation of like, I need to make sure that I'm never at a point where I'm just so comfortable in what I know, that I continue to read, I continue to speak, I continue to have like an open mind and continue to be curious, because that's like really special, And so like I'm trying now to become more business savvy. I've always just said like I'm not a business savvy girl, but I need to be a business savvy girl, Like I'm just a girl cannot be my excuse for everything. It's got to be more than that, So I am trying, and that's just like a little reminder for any of you. Just like keep learning, keep growing, and keep surrounding yourself with really smart people. It's so inspiring. And I just, like every person on my trip just like so full of like knowledge, and I'm just like, that is stunning. So I really enjoyed that was like a little takeaway. And also another takeaway is that maybe it's because I'm still finding my feet and I'm like really trying to be like a content creator, working with like all these brands and like doing it full time, and like I technically am doing it full time, but I'm not at the level yet that I want to be. But I do find myself getting a bit embarrassed when I'm trying to tell people like what I want to do with my life. Like the other day, this woman kind of in a very degrading way asked me, like I was explaining to her about this podcast and like how I love speaking to a camera and I love making videos and stuff. And she was like, but do you have a degree? And I was like, no, I also dropped out of uni. Like I do not have a degree. I do not have like, I barely passed my A-levels. And I don't know, like I found it very degrading, but also at the same time, I was so defending my like future and my path and my goals and stuff. But yeah, I don't know why like there's like this level of embarrassment that comes with saying I'm a content creator. It's actually very hard creating content, It's not so easy like being yourself on camera and trying to create content that people can relate to, So I don't know. I think that's like a part of my confidence that I need to work on, because I definitely do get a little shy and embarrassed when someone's like, what do you do? And I'm like, I make videos, I talk about things on camera. So yeah, that's something I need to work on, because I don't want to be embarrassed. It's kind of like I used to have this thing of not being able to say that I'm a woman. And recently I feel like I can say I'm a woman, like trying to be a woman anyways. Like, I just felt really insecure about saying I'm a woman. Like, I always just was like, I'm a girl. But like, actually, I'm not. I'm 24. I pay my bills. I work. I have a pug. And I've been a single mum for my pug for quite a while. 15 years, exactly. So I technically like am a woman. I'm just like a young woman. But I used to find it really hard to say that. And I think me being able to say like I'm a woman has just come from me being the most confident that I ever have in myself. Even if I'm feeling a bit iffy right now, I am very confident in myself for the most part. Speaking of confidence, every summer I say to myself, this is going to be the summer where I'm going to be so confident in my bikini. And every summer I really, really struggle with my body confidence and being in a bikini, especially when I'm in a bikini in front of guys, because like, God forbid there's a hair out of place. God forbid there's like my nipple that's come out. God forbid my ass is too big and it's eating up my pants, like just all these things. And guys, I just feel like they notice everything. And I just like went on this trip. And I definitely struggled a little bit. Like, there were some days that I was like really, really insecure. And I remember there was like a girl on the trip as well. And she's so beautiful. And we had a whole conversation about it. And she was like, I'm also feeling really insecure. And I was like, I would never be able to tell. Like, the way she handled herself, walked around in her bikini, she looked so confident. And I was like, man, you really don't know what's going through another person's head. You know what I mean? And I was just like, there's not another second that's going to go by that I am going to ruin my own mood because I'm insecure about things that other people aren't even seeing or feeling, And it was like a bit of a wake up call. And this is going to sound so silly, but I hate my arms. Like, I always have had such an issue with my arms. And again, it's silly because at least I have 2 arms that work and do so much for me, But I've always struggled with my arms. I've always felt like they're short and stubby. I did not get blessed with my mom's arms. My mom has like the leanest, most sexy, like muscular, but in a very feminine way. Like, her arms are so good. And I just like was not blessed with those arms. But whatever, I have her slim waist and all that kind of stuff. So I'm grateful. But I've always struggled with my arms and I tend to always cover them. And on this trip, I forcefully got my arms out because I was like, I'm not doing another summer where I'm just covered head to toe. I'm just not doing it. Like, let my arms breathe. And one day, like, I wore, I had one arm out and then I wore a dress. I had both arms out. And like, even though I was slightly self-conscious, I just learned to be comfortable with feeling a bit uncomfortable. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys because, again, like, you might see me and think I'm the most confident girl and I'm wearing this and I'm wearing that and I don't struggle with my body and like my body confidence. I struggle every day and I've become very good at wearing things that make me feel good, that accentuate like the good parts of my body, because I think there's a lot of power in dressing well for your body type. But I struggle all the time. And I wanted to share that with you guys because, yeah, it is a ruminating feeling, especially when you're with guys, especially when you're out on a bikini and you're basically all day in a bikini, So I'm proud of myself because that was a big deal for me. Even though it's just me showing my arms, it was a big deal for me. So that was, another takeaway from my trip. And yeah, it was a good old time. I really, really enjoyed myself. And now it's that back to school feeling of, getting your shit together and getting back to it. Although I always loved going back to school. Like, I love September. I love autumn. I love the transition. I think it's so powerful. It's like almost, like a New Year's. It's just like a new season's beginning. You can kind of like shed a layer of skin that's no longer serving you, and you can kind of just like move forward to the last quarter of the year, which is crazy. And is it the last quarter of the year? It basically is. Q4, which is what all the nerds say. Shout out to the nerds. Anyways, I am, looking forward to what September is going to bring. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this little episode. This feels a little bit more genuine than what I did an hour ago. And I have 2 really exciting guests lined up, which I'm very excited for. I can't wait for them to get in this bed with me. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Anyone else feeling a little funky, just know everything will be okay. And, you know, just as the seasons are coming, seasons of life are happening too. So sometimes it's just a season. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my next episode. Yeah, episode.